Name is Courtney, and I am very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but time marches on. A little discombobulated today. I'm in Texas, and I got to go meet up with another girlfriend, and I have wanted to meet her for a while, and we just couldn't make it work last year. So it's a very good way to kick off my day, but I am a little discombobulated. Anyway, this is something I like to cover this specific topic every few months because it's so important. Because chronic health is difficult even for medical professionals to navigate. So, here are 11 things that a doctor with chronic illness wishes that you knew. By the way, this information is from the Mighty.com, and the Mighty is a really good resource if you're struggling with health issues and or disabilities. Excuse me. Number one, some of this stuff really shouldn't need to be said, yet here we are. Nobody wants to be sick. We just want, what's funny, because people ask me, do you want your old life back? No. Unequivocally, no. Oh boy, it's going to be a long one today. Because I don't like the person I used to be, and I'm a nicer person now, and I want to keep that. But I tell you what, I sure as hell like to have my old health back. We don't want to be sick. We're just, you guys, we're just trying to find answers. We're just trying to find some help. We're just trying to find some support. You would be probably, I think most healthy people would be shocked at how difficult the medical community is to navigate when you're up to here with it. And especially when you have weird things like I do. They're not, not real common. Anyway, number two, thing that a doctor with chronic illness wishes that you knew. It's actually a good segue. I didn't even intend for it to be. Most doctors don't get it. They truly don't. The assumption until fairly recently was that people like me are crazy, and they figured that depression and anxiety were driving the illness. Well, they know now that that's not entirely true. I mean, that it is true to a point, because if your mental health impacts your physical health greatly, but how happy do you think you'd be if your whole life is full of just pain and medical appointments? And if you don't look for a reason to be happy and you're dealing with this, you're going to be so depressed. And of course, there's a ton of anxiety. And what the hell is going on with my body? Why is it doing this? Why can't I get any help from the medical community? Because you know what, when they can't tell you what's wrong with you, it's a really unsettling feeling. But as my brother likes to remind me, there's a reason why we call it practicing medicine. Excuse me. And even today, in spite of mountains and mountains of evidence that fibromyalgia is real, Hashimoto's is real, there are still doctors out there who are very closed-minded. And we're not, to find a doctor that will actually listen to you is such a tremendous. So it's kind of funny. I came down to Texas last winter seeking medical, and I landed in the town of Tyler because they have a teaching hospital there. Boom! I can have every specialist I wanted at my fingertips, right? And I did. Do you know what? The specialists didn't do crap for me. You know why? Because they were missing the one crucial element that I need. They didn't care. I get much better care from my doctor in Alaska than I did from all the specialists here put together. Why? Because to them, I was just another face in the crowd. I was just another patient. I was just another name in the book. But to my doctor at home, I'm an individual, and I'm full of hopes and dreams and fears and concerns, and she understands that. And if you're dealing with health issues, that's what you need to try to look for. You're not going to probably find someone, if you got weird stuff going on, you're probably not going to find someone who knows a lot about your situation. Find someone who will listen. That's my best advice in that regard. Excuse me. Number three thing that you need to know, and this is so funny. This is another thing that really shouldn't need to be said. Boy, this one really hits home for me right now. But being unable to work, it's not a flippin' vacation. Many of us want to work, and I finally hit the point. I don't even like to say this out loud because I know how I feel about it. And not that I'm judging other people, but I know how I feel about it for myself. I haven't worked in a while. I've been too damn sick. I would love to work. Being too sick to get out of bed and feel like a productive human being, it sucks. It excuse me, it can really quickly get to the point where our lives are nothing but medical appointment after medical appointment and pain and it's not fun. It's not a flippin' vacation. I would far rather be healthy enough to go and I was freaking good at my job. I was. I kicked ass at it. People knew they could rely on me. People knew they could count on me. They knew I would solve problems. But here we are. It's not a vacation. Number 4, the emotional impact. The emotional aspect of chronic pain is it's so underrated. It can actually change the biochemistry of the mood control center in your brain. Isn't that crazy? And we do have a lot of depression and anxiety. We often spend years of our lives waiting and searching for a diagnosis, the inability to work to feel productive, the change in family dynamics. Y'all, if you don't think that family dynamics don't drastically change when one party becomes very ill, then you haven't spent much time around other people. Holy smokes, English is my first language. It does change the family dynamics. We get so incredibly socially isolated. My world shrank very smaller than I ever thought it would be. I'm a very outgoing person. And to have all this overshadowing me, I don't want to go do stuff very often anymore. I'll own it. I don't feel like it. My world shrank. We're very socially isolated. There's a lot of financial stress involved with this. This shit is expensive, y'all. Um, my insurance only pays for so I'm very fortunate to have good insurance, but it only pays for so much. And I end up every year spending quite a bit out of my own pocket. And then there's excuse me, I take a lot of supplements to try to bolster my health. The insurance doesn't pay for that. I do. I've gone to naturopaths and functional medicine places where the insurance doesn't pick up the bill. I do. But and it's really frustrating because Western medicine doesn't have all the answers for somebody like me. And my doctor in Alaska, I love her for it. She knows that and she'll own it. Anyway, it's financially difficult. There's a struggle with just doing simple daily tasks. I love to take baths and I like to keep my bathroom clean, very clean. Um, if I completely scour my bathroom top to bottom, that's not a big deal, right? It's not like I got a giant swimming pool of a bathtub and this huge, magnificent bathroom. I don't. I just a little tiny, pretty standard bathroom. That simple chore can often put me in bed for 2 or 3 days. How freaking crazy is that to live your life that way? So, hell yeah, there's some anxiety and depression that goes along with this. You know what else we deal with? Grief. We have a lot of grief. We didn't ask for this shit. It was just this is where we're at. It can be really hard. Thank goodness I started working on myself a long time ago, which, by the way, fitness was a good push into that. But I really, for a long time, I didn't see anything to look forward to in my future. Nothing. You know how hard it is to find a reason to get up and go on when that's your outtake on life? It is hard when you don't have anything, when you can't see any hope in your future. It's hard when just again the smallest of tasks become monumental. This is a really difficult thing to navigate in every aspect, but the emotional part, nobody really talks about. Well, hell, nobody really wants to talk about any of it. Excuse me. Number 5 thing a doctor with chronic illness wishes that you knew. The symptoms are very complex. Now, obviously, symptoms are going to vary illness to illness, but there are a lot of commonalities across chronic illnesses. Extreme fatigue, brain fog, good grief, brain fog, pain, nausea, vertigo. The pain can be intense and it can impact your joints, your muscles, your nerves, your back, your neck. I can get headaches so damn bad I can't even literally can't think straight. Fortunately, the symptoms tend to wax and wane, although since I went on the Cymbalta last year, and I know I keep bringing this up, but you guys, it was so significant in my life, and it freaking destroyed my health physically and mentally. But our symptoms do wax and wane. The inconsistencies, though, that's what makes it hard to plan. You might call me today and say, "Hey, next weekend, there's this cool event. You want to go?" Oh my gosh, hell yeah, that sounds like so much fun. Well, then next weekend comes. I can barely walk. Hey, I'm really sorry, I can't go. I don't feel good. You know how nasty people can be about that? I'm terribly sorry that my chronic pain is so inconvenient for you. But yeah, I got to the point where I wouldn't even make plans with anybody because I was the people I had in my life at that time, they weren't able to just roll with it. Oh my God, you're such a flake. Okay, fine. I'm a flake. The ubiquitous they say that a good day for someone like me would put you in bed. Fibromyalgia has been described, well, the best explanation I've personally ever heard for a flare is it's a full body migraine. And that will either mean something to you or it won't. But a good day for somebody like me is like you having the flu body aches. Well, how productive for you the last time you had the flu? Did you get up and exercise? Did you go to work? Did you do your laundry? Did you do your cooking? Because that's how I live. That's a supposedly a good day for someone like me. Number 6, the fatigue that comes along with chronic illness. It is so far beyond tired. It is overwhelming. It is easily triggered by daily activities, big events, a trip. I freaking love going to conferences. Why? Because I get to spend the weekend surrounded with positive people who they're all trying to make themselves better. I love that kind of thing. It is my total happy place. But I know if I go to a 3-day conference, I'm going to pay for that for at least a week, if not 2 or longer. That's just the way that it goes. And when the fatigue hits, when I finally have hit that wall, rest is not optional. I I will seriously get to the point that I'm so tired, and I know this sounds crazy, but my eyes will start rolling back in my head, and it is a huge struggle for me to stay awake. But you know what? I still live like that. I mean, what choice do I have? What y'all need to understand is that we're not lazy. And okay, I'm a little lazy, but that has nothing to do with this. It's not that I don't. It's not that we don't want to go out with you. It's that we can't. There's a huge difference there. Number 7, brain fog is maddening. Now, this is the hardest symptom to try to describe to somebody, but it's a legitimate cognitive dysfunction that leaves you struggling for words. In fact, a few years ago, I was having a very impassioned conversation with somebody about fibromyalgia, which I'm pretty well versed on living with it because I've been doing it for so long. And I'm making this really impassioned point, and all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh my gosh," and I know everybody does this, but we do this all the time. This is really stale. Well, hell, if you guys have watched my videos, you know I do it, you've seen it. My mind just goes totally blank. It's like, "Oh my gosh, not only do I know what I was not know what I was about to say, I have no idea what the hell we're even talking about." And I actually had to ask the gentleman I was talking to, "Yeah, this is really embarrassing. What the hell are we talking about?" That's embarrassing, but it happens. Um, It impacts our concentration and our recall. Now, the only way I can think of to describe this, and again, I don't know if this is helpful to anybody or not, but it feels like my head is packed as tight as it can be with cotton and that my thoughts just have to try to fight their way out. And I would love to be more active politically. I really would. I'm very passionate about my beliefs and my values. And I would love to advocate for them. You know why I don't? Because I can't half the time find the right words. You have no idea how freaking frustrating that is, especially since I used to be a really good writer. I'm an okay writer now, but it's because I struggle so much with the words because of the freaking brain fog. Number 8 thing a doctor with chronic illness wishes that y'all knew, our risk of serious infection is far greater than yours. Our immune systems are so busy fighting our own bodies, we don't have a lot left for external forces. A minor cold for you can turn very serious for somebody like me. And, I understand, I really understand the pressure with a lot of jobs to be there. And I also know that not everybody has leave where they can stay home when they're sick. Believe me, I do get these things. However, if you're sick, stay the hell home. If you cannot stay home, stay the hell away from your colleague who has a chronic illness. Several years ago, a coworker, and he's a nice guy. He truly is. I like him, and he likes me. We had a great working relationship. But I'm the kind of person I had little knickknacks and tchotchkes all over my desk. And he comes in one day and he's playing with everything on my desk because people would stop and talk to me and, you fiddle. And he finally tells me he's really sick. And I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? And I literally chased him away from my desk, yelling at him, what the hell are you touching all my stuff for? Now I've got to stop and disinfect my desk because I can get really sick from this. And he's like, oh, you're overreacting. You're overreacting. But I guess he went home and told his wife, and she set him straight. So thanks, girl. Not that she's going to see this. But we do have a greater risk for serious infection. So if you know somebody like that, just be aware. I know I'm not telling you you've got to avoid them. I'm certainly not going to tell you to wear a mask. Just be kind. Don't go touch all their stuff on their desk if you're sick. Go straight to your office, do your stuff, and go home. Number 9, foods can be huge triggers for our symptoms. Gluten, dairy, soy, yeast, booze, unfortunately, processed foods. All those things are inflammatory. And here's the thing. You can eat a really healthy diet and still be eating something that your body does not like. And you're going to have a response to it. If you don't, and I hate keeping a food diary, I freaking hate it. But I'm going to tell you, if you're having those kinds of issues and you can't figure out why, every so often something really triggers my symptoms up, keep a food diary. You could be eating very healthy, but there's still something that you are sensitive to. Since foods can trigger your symptoms, if you're in that boat, you've got to keep track of what you're eating. It's the only way you're going to solve that puzzle. Number 10. Sensitivity to smells is common. Oh my gosh. Several years ago, the building that I was working in had an enclosed stairwell. And I jumped in the stairwell and I started up the stairs. I'm distracted. My mind is going a million different directions. And I get about halfway up the first flight of stairs and they had changed cleaning products. And the smell hit me. So I kept going up to the next floor. And I know this sounds so dramatic, but I swear I burst out of the doors and I'm beet red. I'm sweating. I'm shaky. I can barely breathe. Was it because it was toxic? No. It's because for whatever reason, my body decided, you know what? We hate that smell and you need to get the hell out of these stairs. I had to avoid that staircase from then out. I had to go find the open, it wasn't very far away, thankfully, but I had to go find the open stairwell where those fumes were not trapped in. I used to use bleach all the time for cleaning. I can't use bleach anymore, not out of any altruistic motivation. I'll be very honest. It's because, hi, honey, how are you? It's because, hey, I got the chat up. Oh, I got the chat up, at least for, I think that you're on Twitter, right? Anyway, I had to switch to natural cleaning products because I couldn't deal with the fumes. I couldn't deal with the smell. Perfumes, colognes, cleaning supplies, smoke can trigger nausea, headaches, brain fog, and other symptoms. And finally, actually, she had 12 things on her list, to be honest, but I didn't agree with the 12th one, so I knocked it off. So that's why we only have 11 to go over today. And we are at the end. We are at number 11. The 11th thing a doctor with chronic illness really wishes that you knew is that management takes a ton of effort. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. We lead very regimented lives. We have to rest. We have med schedules. For me, it's supplement schedules. We need to worry about avoiding trigger foods. We need to worry about smells. We need to worry about just act. If I clean my house today, what does that mean? What does that mean for me tomorrow? Everything that we do has to be, okay, if I do this, what's that going to mean? If I do that, where am I going to have? There's a great essay about dealing with chronic illness called The Spoon Theory. In a nutshell, a woman is trying to explain to her friend what it's like to live with lupus. And they're at a restaurant and the lupus lady gets an inspiration. She grabs a bunch of spoons and hands them to her friend and says, okay, you've got lupus. You just woke up. Those spoons represent your energy for the whole day. And she starts taking spoons away. You got out of bed. There goes the spoon. Not you got dressed, not you took a shower. Whoops, but you got out of bed. That can be all it takes. Take a shower. Some days that's 2 spoons. Well, when you live a life with a finite amount of energy and you know that overtaxing yourself is going to lead to a crash, you literally have to consider everything. What's the implications of this? If I go out and have margaritas with the girls, what does that mean for me for the next few days? This takes a ton of effort to manage, and we're trying to juggle all this crap and still lead a normal life. So if you're dealing with someone who has health issues and you see them going out for margaritas with the girls and you know it's going to take a high toll on them, keep your damn mouth shut. You know why? We know. We are so much more aware of these things than you are ever going to be. And sometimes we just want to say to hell with it. We get tired of worrying about it. We get tired of every decision. Okay, if I do this, it's going to cost me here. If I do that, it's going to take all my spoons away. You get freaking tired of it and you just want to go out and be a normal person. So if your loved one who's dealing with this throws caution to the wind and goes out and eats and drinks a bunch of stuff and you know it's going to make them feel terrible, don't. I told you that was going to happen. You knew better than that. Don't do that because we do know. We don't need you to tell us. And until you've had to juggle all this crap every single freaking day, 360. I mean, I've been dealing with this crap for almost 20 years now. I'm fed up to here with having to worry about it all. I don't have a lot of choice because this is the hand I've been dealt, but I do get tired of it. So don't try to be my conscience. I don't need you to do that. What we need from you, we need you to be kind. We need you to have a little empathy. We need you to be supportive. That's all. It doesn't sound like much to ask, and yet, and yet, anyway, that is all I have for today. I will be back Friday at 2 o'clock Central. Was I going to say something else? I should have a call to action here and I know it, but I don't. So please subscribe or follow on whatever social media platform you found this on because this broadcast is several. I hope you'll have a fantastic afternoon and I will